shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the Konoha route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alrighty, thank you everybody for tuning in to the 37th iteration of the Konoha Companion. This is Joshua. As always, I'm your Konoha Companion. On this episode, we're going to be covering episode 36 of Naruto, entitled Clone vs. Clone, Mine Are Better Than Yours. And before we dive too far off into that, I do want to go over what happened on the previous episode a little bit, just kind of briefly. So they're 4 days into the second phase of the Chunin exam out in the Forest of the Death. And the squadlings set up a camp, and they catch fish by the river, and they eat around the campfire and talk about their plan and their odds moving forward. We're shown a second group of Leaf Ninja who stop and decide to make a camp, and one of those team members go off to find food while the others rest. Sasuke decides to go gather water, while Naruto has the bright idea to try and convince Sakura to go along with a plan to take a generic scroll and make it look like the heaven scroll that they need to pass the exam, right? Like, we just have the scroll that we started with, and now we have a fake scroll that looks like the scroll that we need, and like they won't be able to tell the difference. He winds up convincing Sakura to let him open the earth scroll that they have currently so that he can make a proper fake heaven scroll. It's a stupid idea. And bad on Sakura for falling for, even playing party to this at all. And like I said, he somehow actually convinces Sakura to go along with this, basically saying that if they do nothing, they'll never make it. And this somehow beats doing nothing. It's a bad argument, but Sakura buys it. The second group of Leaf Ninja open their scroll and scream, and their teammate comes back and finds the two who opened the scroll out cold on the ground. It's later revealed from Kabuto that the scrolls have a hypnosis jutsu in them that renders the readers immobile until after the Chunin exam ends, effectively making it so that they will never be able to pass. Back with Naruto and Sakura, Kabuto comes out of nowhere and saves the day, leaping and stopping Naruto from opening their scroll right at the last minute. As Kabuto is leaving, he reveals that he has both a heaven and an earth scroll, and Sasuke tries to fight him for the heaven scroll, and Kabuto refuses and instead offers to show them the way to the tower. Along the way, Kabuto explains to the squadlings that they're going to need to ambush a team near the tower, and they're going to need to avoid collectors near the finish line. And basically ambush a team near the tower because everybody has to converge on the tower in order to pass, and avoid collectors basically being people who are trying to ambush you, right? So ambush somebody, don't get ambushed. They think they're getting ambushed, but it actually just turns out to be a centipede that Naruto sticks to a tree with a kunai. And when I say it's a centipede, it's like a fucking massive centipede, right? Not just like a normal centipede at all. They continue on and eventually piece together that they've been caught in a genjutsu walking in circles. Kabuto points out the centipede on the tree, right? That's how they're able to ultimately point it together. Also, they realize the tower isn't getting any closer. When they realize this, the Hidden Rain Ninja literally start to emerge out of the trees and surround the gang, and the episode ends. And the Hidden Rain Ninja who are emerging out of the trees and out of the ground, they all look exactly the same, and they're all a little clumsy, so I'm pretty much under the impression that they're clones at this point, but that hasn't been confirmed or denied to this point. That's just kind of an assumption. It's been a really long time since I've watched all this, so I don't necessarily remember, right? I'm just kind of going along as we go. It is my second time watching, though. But effectively, that ends the episode, and then the next episode, this episode, starts, and it takes us a little ways back where Sakura has fallen to her hands and knees from exhaustion, and she cries out for crying out loud. And she also points out that the tower isn't getting any closer, and that at this point Naruto agrees, saying, "I was thinking that too, it's weird." And at this point, Kabuto realizes that they've been caught in a genjutsu, and points out the centipede on the tree that Naruto had killed earlier. You'll remember earlier whenever they thought they were being ambushed, Naruto reacted quickly and threw a kunai and managed to actually stick this giant centipede to a tree. Sasuke asks to the squad what the Genjutsu caster's plan must be, and Kabuto effectively reasons that the casters of the Genjutsu are trying to wear them down and attack, and I quote, when we're frustrated and physically exhausted. And Sasuke questions, you mean like we are right now? Which, clever job. That's actually, yes. And Kabuto actually agrees and basically lets the squadlings know that they should expect an incoming attack soon enough. So everybody kind of braces themselves and gets ready, even though Sakura is already exhausted. Suddenly, what looks like blobs of water start to move along the surfaces of the trees and along the ground. And suddenly the blobs emerge out of the surfaces they were scuttling across, and as they emerge they morph into hidden rain ninja, and they surround the gang. And these rain ninja all look exactly the same, and they seem a little clumsy, so I'm concluding that they're probably clones. Also, the title clearly gives it away, Clone versus Clone, mine are better than yours, so you can, with the name of the episode coming along too, you can pretty much conclude that these guys are clones. It's my favorite cup. This cup I got for being a part of the bridal party in a wedding. My friends Whitley and Kirsten got married, and I got a cup. So that's what you're hearing. If you're only listening and you hear some clickety clanking, that's me drinking from my fancy cup, so I don't cough. I'd rather deal with the occasional clickety clank than be coughing, so deal with it. But the blobs emerge out of the surfaces they were scuttling about, and they turn into ninja, and like I said, they all look the same. They're a little clumsy, so they're probably clones. And at this point it shows us the rain ninja who are behind the attack, and they're watching all of this transpire from the safety of the trees some distance away as the clones close in on the gang. When I say the gang, I mean the squadlings plus Kabuto. Sasuke mocks, well, Naruto, you wanted to fight. And Naruto excitedly responds, 4 against 40, just the way I like it. And leave it to Naruto to be foolhardy. Foolhardy is a fancy word that I think appropriately fits him, right? It's not just simple bravery, right? You're supposed to be scared in order to overcome something and be brave, right? He's just not scared at all. I'm gonna fuck these guys up. So, maybe a little foolhardy here in this circumstance. But in this moment, the title slide comes in and Naruto reads, Clone versus Clone, mine are better than yours, right? Again, alluding to the idea that these guys that are closing in on them are in fact clones. Sakura asks, what are they? As they continue to close in, and Kabuto confirms that these are clones as far as he can tell, right? So now we've got some pretty concrete confirmation that these guys are clones, right? At least as far as they can tell. One of the clones refers to the gang as cornered rats, and Naruto gets really upset by this and just flies into action, punching that clone, and it knocks a hole in his side, not a hole. It's not entirely enclosed. He took a chunk out of his side, but you can see it's most of a circle. He punches right through it, and it's like they're mush. And when you punch them, they just kind of mush apart. And in the hole that Naruto left with his punch, another clone starts to emerge out of it and claw its way out. And it has in its hand a double-sided kunai. This has the whole squad shook, right? No one's really ever seen anything like this. Everyone's kind of what the fuck is going on, right? This is kind of a crazy deal. Sasuke has enough of the confusion and decides to engage and lock his Sharingan in on the situation so that he can take a closer look. And as he does this, the clone that Naruto has now effectively turned into a double-torsoed monster clone tries to attack him, but Sasuke saves the day by throwing several shuriken that effectively obliterate the clone's attacking arm, right? Like the clone went to attack Naruto with one of its free arms, and Sasuke hit that arm as he was swinging it towards Naruto with some shuriken, and it just like turned his whole arm to mush. The clone then turns and throws a kunai at Sasuke, who freezes up. And it turns out that he freezes up because his curse mark has begun to yet again activate. And so, don't know why that's happening as it is currently, but it definitely, like, nearly cost him his life. And it would have, I mean, he would have died. Like, he would have been frozen by the curse mark, and he would have gotten hit in the face with a kunai. But luckily, Kabuto dives in and saves the day. But Kabuto, in so doing, manages to get nicked in the shoulder by a kunai, which obviously isn't like a world-ending injury, but he is in fact taking some damage in this process. So Kabuto's like a real one, right? Like he's down to like take a kunai to save Sasuke at the very minimum. You can at least conclude that happened. Sakura comes in and tries to help Sasuke as Kabuto gathers himself, and the clones continue to close in, all hollering, "Surrender your scroll! Surrender your scroll!" Like they're all yelling it kind of, it starts overlapping, like it gets real overwhelming. Like you want to give these fuckers the scroll, and you're just sitting in your chair. It seems as though Sasuke's curse mark again stops acting up whenever Sakura comes along to help. Right, they still haven't explained if there's any rhyme or reason why this thing's acting up and stopping to act up, but this is at least the second time now throughout this whole Forest of Death interaction after Sasuke's gotten the curse mark, where Sakura has gone and embraced him and like given him love, and his curse mark has receded or stopped to act up. So something's up. It's either Sakura special or it's something about love or something. Something's going on. And it's messing with the curse mark. You need to keep your mind on it. Naruto thinks at first that these guys must all be shadow clones, but then he reasons shadow clones are supposed to vanish when you give them a good shot. And so then he questions aloud, maybe it's genjutsu? And Naruto gets hyped up and like dares the clones to come and take their scroll, right? Because they're all screaming, "Give up your scroll!" And Naruto's like, "Fucking come and take it!" Which, Texan, like from Texas, big Texas energy. Come and take it. Sasuke stops Naruto before he manages to attack, however, and explains that it is in fact a genjutsu. And the team pieces together that the clones in front of them are genjutsu and the actual attackers are attacking from behind the illusion, but doing so in a way so that it makes it seem like the kunai are flying from the illusion. Right, like as the illusion throws a kunai, there's actually a kunai flying in from behind that illusion clone, and so it all kind of times out right, and it looks like a kunai was thrown at you by this illusion clone, but really it was like from the bushes behind, and you couldn't see it coming in because there's an illusion in front of you. So it's a clever deal they have going on, but they've effectively seen through it. It shows us our best look at the Rain Ninja we've gotten so far, and they're in like a matching getup, right? They all have what looks like unbuckled straitjackets on with respirators and white masks like bandanas covering their eyes. The one in the center, who kind of seems like the leader, has holes for both of his eyes. The one to the right has only a single hole for one eye. And the one to the left has no holes. So homie's just like running blind. Maybe he's got like Daredevil chakra sense. Who fucking knows? The guy definitely doesn't have his eyes readily available. So I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully we'll figure that out. They're hidden rain. So they're not like echolocating like the sound guys might have been. So it's, yeah, who knows? Who fucking knows at this point? I actually don't know. I swear to God, I don't remember well enough. We're gonna figure it out as we go. The one in the center with the two eye holes kind of seems like the leader. Chuckles and confirms the gang's conclusion. And I don't know if he thought this or said this out loud because his internal voice and his external voice are the same. and his mouth is covered by a respirator, but he effectively concludes that it's a lucky guess, right? He doesn't think that these guys are actually smart enough to reason it, he just thinks that they've more or less guessed it. Naruto wants to rush into the forest and find the actual attackers, right, in classic Naruto wrecking ball fashion. But the team decides to play it slow. They figure their attackers are doing the genjutsu shit because they're just way too weak to actually win a close-up fight. So they decide the best course of action is to hold their ground and fend off the enemy attack until they run out of chakra and they need to come in and actually have an up-close fight if they really want to win. The Rain Ninja question among themselves how long the gang will be able to hold out for, but they ultimately conclude they have plenty of time and they start their attack, right? They're like, the night's still young. Like, well, we can keep this up all night. So I don't think that stamina is really going to be an issue for them based on how they're acting about this. They throw kunai at the gang from behind the clone illusions persistently, but the squadlings consistently avoid the attacks but are clearly getting worn down after it. After a time, it gets to where they're getting worn down. Naruto gets fed up and casts his shadow clone jutsu. Kabuto tries to stop him, but Naruto basically reasons that if he can make more clones than they're dealing with, jump them all, then there would be no illusion for the actual attackers to hide behind, and he goes ahead with his plan, right? So Naruto's basic plan at this point is to make more clones than there are genjutsu clones. So if there's 50 genjutsu clones, he's going to make 150 Naruto clones so that he can jump them all 3-1 and basically beat up the clones faster than they can regenerate them. And then at that point, there will be no clones left for them to hide behind. So it might turn out to be a clever plan, but it's like true to Naruto form, with it being like wrecking ball, we're going to go in there and knock some shit out type of fashion. He goes forward with his plan, and his clones absolutely beat the dog shit out of the Rain Ninja clones, but the Rain Ninja clones keep turning into mush when he defeats them, and coming back shortly thereafter, right? So, like, it doesn't appear as though he's going to be able to take them out faster than they're able to regenerate. The rest of the gang decides that Naruto has effectively forced their hand, and that they need to go join in the melee. And they go do that. And the gang fights illusions till morning, when the Rain Ninja decide to move in for the kill. The Rain Ninja dispel the illusion and reveal themselves, believing that they've crushed the spirits of the squadlings in Kabuto. The Rain Ninja, with the holes for both of his eyes, the leader, recognizes Sasuke as the one who cut my shoulder, and he relishes the opportunity to pay him back with interest. I actually don't recall where this is from. I don't know when Sasuke cut this guy on the shoulder. So, if you remember, hop in the comments and tell me, because I'm actually interested. It's not something that a quick Google search can do. It's something that you actually have to be a real life weeb nerd to know. And this is a bit of trivia that I'd love to know. What episode did it happen? What interaction was it happening in? Because this is one of the only things that's come up so far in the entire show where I haven't been able to really pinpoint it, and I want to go back and watch the entire series to see whenever these two had a random little interaction. So if you know, let me know. The gang appears to be had, right? They're all exhausted, and these guys are closing in on them. But then the squadlings in Kabuto all start to laugh at the Rain Ninja, straight up laughing at them, mocking them. It's a Josh cut. The gang laughing at them appears to frustrate the Rain Ninja, and Sasuke mocks from out of frame, well, now who's the cornered rat? And this is a great callback to earlier, right? Fuck these guys, use their same shit talk on them. And then suddenly Sasuke, Kabuto, and Sakura reveal themselves behind their would-be attackers, and Naruto changes the squadlings around him back to his shadow clones. And so, to be super clear about what just happened, Naruto, during the melee, had clones of himself transformed to look like the rest of the gang, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kabuto. so that the Rain Ninja would lose track of who was who in the melee. And they had the whole, and so basically these guys thought they had the whole team cornered, when really these three slipped off to the side, and the three that they were watching fight were just Naruto clones transformed to look like them. Naruto falls to one knee from exhaustion, right? Like, this has been a big deal. He's been single-handedly fighting these guys all night. And he falls to one knee from exhaustion, and Sasuke calls out for him to take a break, and that he's used up too much of his chakra, and that he's got it from here. Naruto leaps up and punches the leader of the Rain Ninja so hard that he smashes into the other two, effectively knocking them all down. Naruto, sweating and panting, mocks that there was no way he was letting Sasuke steal his thunder at the last minute, after he did all the heavy lifting all night. Which is fair play, right? It's just apparently an overexertion of your, depleting your chakra reserves too greatly can literally be lethal. I mean, you remember Kakashi used his Sharingan up too much, and it literally incapacitated him for several days. Like, was walking and fell over paralyzed. So, the overexertion of oneself and the overutilization of chakra can be a literal lethal issue here in this verse. And so he's been fighting all night, and he's still trying to fight. So he might be making some poor decisions at this point. It's yet to be determined. This blows Sasuke's mind, who thinks, whoa, is this the same Naruto? What happened? When did he get so good? And I love this, because this is one of the first times whenever Sasuke really, in his mind, recognized Naruto as a badass. For real. Cannot deny it. I mean, he's recognized him once or twice towards the end of the Land of Waves arc, whenever he literally saved him. But that's one of the only other times, man. We're talking maybe one or two other times we've heard Sasuke even think or speak really positively on Naruto, and this is one of those moments. And he's basically saying that he's a fucking badass, and how did this happen under his nose? When did it happen? The Rain Ninja can't believe Naruto can still move, much less kick ass. And they remark on it out loud. And Kabuto thinks to himself, his chakra is incredibly resilient. He goes on to think to himself basically that if Naruto were to be able to make that many shadow clones, sustain them, make 3 transformations, and still have the vigor to come in swinging on the 5th day of the Chunin exam is absolutely remarkable. And goes on to think, and I quote, if he ever truly masters his chakra, this kid will be unstoppable. And so now Kabuto, with an even more seasoned perspective than Sasuke, is saying some really flattering things about our boy Naruto. And that basically he has a remarkable amount of chakra that's incredibly resilient, and the only thing that's stopping Naruto at this point is his ability to control all that chakra. And so it's a really good compliment from our man Kabuto, who's kind of an independent, third party that doesn't really have a horse in the race, right? The Rain Ninja get up and all cast matching hand signs, and they go on to explain that they're running out of time, so they're going to have to take the gloves off and show them their ninjutsu. The leader of the Rain Ninja calls out Fog Clone Jutsu, which makes a huge mob of clones of each of them, right? There's 3 dudes. So there's probably I don't know, maybe 9 or so of each. And the squad tries to tell Naruto to hold on, but he rushes in head first, believing he'll just smash all the clones till he finds the real ones. Kabuto begrudgingly leaps into action, and just as Sasuke goes to use his Sharingan, his curse mark begins to act up, freezing him in place and causing him a stabbing pain in his neck, just like before. As this happens, he wonders if he's used too much of his chakra. And so at this point, Sasuke is curious if, he doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't even fully understand why this curse mark stuff is happening. And so he's like kind of desperately grabbing at straws, and he's thinking that maybe it has to do with the overutilization of his chakra as well. Like I was just saying, the overutilization of chakra is like a really potentially big deal. Naruto frantically punches through fog clones as Kabuto tries to get him to stop, but he's just not having anything that Kabuto has to say. He's in the zone beating ass. Sasuke forces himself to use his Sharingan despite the curse mark acting up again, like just through sheer force of will, he makes it happen. And he looks around the battlefield, and after a few seconds, his vision goes white, and his curse mark acts up again, and so much so that it forces him to scream in pain and fall to his knees. Sakura yet again comes to his aid, realizes what's going on, and begs him to stop using his Sharingan for the time being. It does seem again, though, that whenever she comes up and helps, it causes the curse mark to at least stop acting up. So now we're like 3 for 3 on Sakura helping out with the curse mark. Naruto turns to check out the commotion that's going on behind him with Sasuke and Sakura and the curse mark, and in that moment a hidden rain ninja sees an opportunity and attacks Naruto while he's distracted, yelling, "Never give your enemy an opening. Never give your enemy an opening." Kabuto leaps in and tackles Naruto out of the way of the attack, but he gets cut on the leg in the process, right? So this is now the second time that Kabuto has saved a squadling by tackling them and knocking them out of the way of a kunai, and it's also the second time that he's taken some damage in the process. So Kabuto is like a real one out here, like taking real L's so that he can protect the squad. Another clone leaps in to attack Naruto and Kabuto when Sasuke uses his Sharingan again and sees that the Rain Ninja are using a sort of Earth-style jutsu that's allowing them to emerge out of the ground behind whoever is currently distracted by a clone to launch their attacks, right? So like you're fighting clones and then they like emerge out of the ground and kunai. Pretty straightforward attack. Neat that they can merge in and out of the ground that easily. We saw their clones could do that earlier, so I guess it's not surprising. If they can make a clone do it, they can do it. So it's cool. It's a neato deal that they have going on, like a neato attack for sure. Before Sasuke is able to communicate this to the team, the Rain Ninja lands a direct blow on Kabuto, which sends blood spraying and knocks Kabuto to the ground. Right, so at this point, Kabuto has been like really, really hurt. And the Rain Ninja surround Kabuto, who's knocked over on the ground, and he just glares at them, right, in a moment of panic. And his eyes suddenly turn red. And this causes all the Rain Ninja to pause, right? Like they see his eyes turn red and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? And in this moment, Naruto leaps in and hits them all with a spinning kick to the face. This effectively knocks them all out well enough so that they can't keep up their clones anymore, who suddenly all vanish in plumes of smoke. Naruto wipes the sweat from his face as he mocks, like you said, never give your enemy an opening. Good advice. And so this is now the second time where one of the squadlings has called back to previous lines that the bad guys delivered in the episode. So callbacks on top of callbacks. Kabuto thanks Naruto for saving his neck, and Sakura tells him, way to go. Kabuto spots and questions Sasuke. He spots and questions Sasuke about the curse mark on his neck, but Sasuke avoids the subject, just saying it's nothing. Naruto digs through the belongings of the defeated Rain Ninja and finds a Heaven Scroll, which is just what they need, and he points that out to the squadlings. And Kabuto waves and yells, "Good for you." As he does this, Sasuke looks at Kabuto and thinks, there's something about this guy. Something I don't like. The gang makes it to the tower, and Kabuto's teammates, two scary-looking dudes with their faces covered, emerge from the forest and immediately give Kabuto a hard time about being late. Kabuto explains that he'd gotten distracted doing some important stuff, and Kabuto gives the gang a thumbs up, and they go their separate ways into the tower, right? Apparently every team has a designated door that they're supposed to go into. Kabuto then immediately links up with dun 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 Orochimaru, where it's revealed that Kabuto is actually a Sound Village spy who has been and is currently working for Orochimaru, whose mission was to gather information on Sasuke. And Orochimaru, after some dialogue, tells him good work and vanishes. And this would explain this would explain why Kabuto has information on everybody. That would explain why he's so smart and why he's so able, right? Like this, he's not a regular Genin at all. He's not a Genin. He's way above that level. He's been brought in as a spy for Orochimaru. He's been spying on the ninja and the talent in the Hidden Leaf and the people who get brought to the Chunin exams from other villages for Orochimaru for a hot minute. And so Orochimaru clearly is going to have all the good info because it's being fed to him by Kabuto. At this point, the squadlings enter a large empty room with little more than a poster with a cryptic message on it reading, "If qualities of heaven are what you desire, acquire wisdom to take your mind higher. If earthly qualities are what you lack, train your body and prepare to attack. When heaven and earth are open together, a perilous path will become righteous forever. This missing word here," there's like a missing space, "is the secret way that guides us from this place today." And Sakura kind of crunches on it and concludes that it's meant for them to open the heaven and earth scrolls at the same time, now that they've made it to the tower and they're in their designated room. And they go to open the scrolls, and Naruto nervously says, "Here goes nothing," and the episode ends, right? And so it's big suspense moment. According to Kabuto, there's like hypnosis jutsu in there, so who knows what to believe at this point. But to put a pin in it, I want to go through my final thoughts. The squadlings made it to the tower, and they have both the necessary scrolls. They've effectively passed this part of the exam, dude. They still are like trying to figure out the riddle in this room, but like, dude, the overwhelming majority of the second phase of the Chunin exam has been handled. The Hidden Rain are some losers. They keep getting their asses kicked. Like, they got their asses kicked by Gaara and them. They got their asses kicked here. I think that Hidden Rain are also the guys who got initially trapped by Kiba and them in the very beginning as well. So I think that the Hidden Rain have effectively been just like set up as fucking punching bags in this arc. We'll see what winds up coming of it, but I don't think that we've seen anybody from the Hidden Rain do anything too spectacular this entire time. The guys who were trying to attack Naruto and them, they were really not about that life at all. They did not want that smoke. They literally went through so much to make sure that they would have all the range and tactical advantages on the squadlings and Kabuto that they could. Granted, they were down one person, right? It's 3 against 4, so obviously the gang is going to have some advantages. But, I mean, bro, they walked these guys all night. To the point that Sakura collapsed from exhaustion before they even put them under the clone jutsu, right? They were under genjutsu walking in circles, and then they elaborated on that when they started putting the clones out there, and they made the gang fight clones all night, and then they still couldn't get the job done, right? Even with all that they did, they still couldn't get the job done. So, I mean, I think it literally took 2 total strikes. Yeah, Naruto hit him with 2 punches, and it knocked out 3 people in total. So, weak, whack. Y'all whack. It's fun how Naruto is just a wrecking ball. Luckily, his team is good at rolling with the punches. It seems as though they were all kind of in on the plan to make the clones and the substitutions, but part of me likes to think that like the team just kind of rolled with the punches, right? But either way, man, they're finding a way to make it work with Naruto and his shadow clones and him being a ridiculous little wrecking ball. It's fun. It's a fun move when Naruto had his clones transform to look like Sasuke, Sakura, and Kabuto, so the Rain Ninja would lose track of everything in the melee. Like, everybody thinks that Naruto's a dum-dum, but he's got like a particular type of cleverness on the battlefield that's like really, really effective. Like, the dude is gonna get by in a fight. There's no doubt about it. It's crazy that Kabuto was a secret spy for Orochimaru in the Hidden Sound, and he was there to gather information on Sasuke. Like, wow, what a twist. And it's crazy how Sasuke, like, low-key, like, had him pinged. Like, right at the last minute, Sasuke was like, there's something about this guy that ain't quite right. And then literally, like, 2 minutes later on the screen, it was being revealed that he was a spy. So Sasuke has, like, a strong intuitive gut sense that he definitely needs to listen to. It's cool how highly Kabuto thinks of Naruto, right? Basically said that if Naruto can ever figure out how to control his chakra, he's going to be like an unstoppable monster. So, yeah, that's fun. That's fun to hear. It's exciting. And it was also cool because Sasuke gave Naruto some recognition on the back end in his mind. Yeah, it was cool. Like, Naruto's finally getting some recognition, and I love it because that's all our boys ever wanted, is to be recognized and not looked down upon. And these people are literally, like, looking at him with adoration right now, so it's dope. Awesome that Sasuke had some type of sixth sense about Kabuto. Like I said, it was literally revealed a few minutes after he was like, something ain't right, that he was a spy. So Sasuke definitely needs to, like, listen to whatever intuitive sense he has. Hopefully it keeps leading him in the right direction. The Hidden Rain Ninja didn't stand a chance against the gang, even with, like, all those, like, bullshit advantages that they gave themselves. They still got their ass kicked with 2 total punches, so welcome. Shadow clones over fog clones over genjutsu clones, right? Yeah, that's just like the hierarchy there is what it looks like. Looks like genjutsu clones are good for just, like, keeping you busy, whereas fog clones can actually deal some damage directly, and shadow clones obviously are like the trump card. I mean, they're literally like a forbidden jutsu for a reason. I wonder what's up with Sasuke's curse mark acting up intermittently, right? Sasuke seems to think that it's responding to him using too much chakra, but then again, I do believe that he was able to use it one last time, that episode repercussionless, right? It acted up on him twice, and then he used it one last time, and he didn't even get the word out fast enough for it to even matter, but he did still in fact use it, and it didn't seem like it activated and gave him any hard time then either. So I think that, who knows, right? Because he definitely was at the chakra depleted state where it would have been causing him trouble, and then he did something that ate up more of his chakra and it didn't act up again. So it still seems pretty intermittently, and it seems like everybody's best guess is that it's with him using too much chakra, but there's some activity there that leads me to believe that maybe that's not entirely the case. I wonder what's in the scroll. We know a group of Hidden Leaf guys got knocked out when they opened it, and we know that Kabuto said that it's a hypnosis jutsu, but who can fucking trust Kabuto at this point? The guy's an Orochimaru spy. But at any rate, the squadlings are at the tower. It's looking like they're about to pass the second phase of the Chunin exams. They're going to open up the scroll in the next episode. We're all going to find out what happens together. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Joshua. I'm your Konoha companion. Thank you again as always. Peace.